morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Pitcher Chronicles. I'm Uncle Taz. I'm here with Donald. And listen, Donald, there was some news coming on yesterday that the trade market seems to be where the Yankees are heading for the moment in this offseason after the Yankees missed out on Okamoto. I don't even know if they were even in the mix for him, but Okamoto is going to Toronto. As you mentioned the other day, Imai is going to Houston, which kind of sucks because that was a guy that we really were both touting this offseason to bolster the pitching rotation with the injuries that we had and not knowing what condition anybody was coming back in. So pitching was something that we had focused a little bit time on. And it seems like the Yankees are now interested in making a trade either with the Marlins or the Brewers, because you also saw Peralta's name in the mix as somebody that they are interested in. But mainly the reports are that the Yankees and the Marlins are really on the cusp of making a deal for Eduardo Cabrera, who is somebody that we've talked about for a couple of years now on our channel and other channels alike. As somebody that Cashman really has his eye on. Do you see this? I kind of wonder what the package would look like. I know there were reports that it would either be Dominguez or Jones that would be one of the focal points for the Marlins to get back in return. I don't know if this sits right with me. I don't know if I'm ready to give up on those two guys yet. What's your thought on it?
I think it's going to be enhanced. I think it's going to be two top 10 prospects, but not Dominguez. All right, give me 1 minute. I'll reload it.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right. So while we wait for Donald to reset, the reason I would not want to give up on Dominguez is Dominguez was one of these guys that I have said for years. He is one of my untouchables. The only time that I was really willing to waver that was with the Soto trade, because when you have the opportunity to get a generational guy like that, there's no restrictions on who they can get. But I don't know. I want to see what Jones can bring, especially since we only have, luckily, so Grisham's only here for the 1 year, and we could argue about whether he should have gotten the QO. We can go down that rabbit hole all over again, but I don't want to do that. Grisham's here. It is what it is. It's 1 year, and I wanted to use that year to let Spencer Jones to really develop another year in the minor leagues and work on his play discipline. The other question is going to come into, as Lauren is saying in the chat, it's going to be, where does that leave your budget to fulfill other needs in the roster? And that's where things can get a little bit murky. While we wait for Donald to get back, let's go through some of the chat, because we always appreciate the comments and we try to get as many of them into our show as we can. So if you want to join the chat, it's very easy. Just hit that sub button. If you're in the chat, just make sure you also hit that like button, and let's share this out. And we're going to kick it off with the comment here from NFE from the Strike Zone. Happy New Year, my bro. Apparently Hess and Dylan Lewis were being discussed with Cabrera. Look, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to a trade for Cabrera. I'm just, if it gets to the point where they want either Dominguez or Jones, I would have to really evaluate the depth of the trade. That's really where I stand for. We got Dornier. If they trade for Cabrera, the money is there for Tucker or Bellinger. It is. Well, and Cabrera is a controllable pitcher, which I think is something that the Yankees like. But we all know when you're getting years of control, that also increases the prospects that need to be dealt for the other team to justify that move. So I really don't know what direction they're. Look, if you're able to bolster your pitching and you don't have to trade pitching, that's where I always like to lean because I don't like dealing from. I don't like dealing an area of need to bolster another area. It's not like our catches. We had an abundance of catches. We were able to move on from some of them because we were putting all our eggs into the basket of Austin Wells, who we don't know what he's going to be yet. He hasn't really, in my opinion, hasn't risen to the occasion of being that catcher that we're like, okay, we're set with catcher. It hasn't happened yet. So that makes me very, very nervous about that. Healing men's hearts. What's going on, Healing? You say, I'd rather ship off Jones instead of Dominguez. Excuse me. I think where that really comes into play is because Dominguez has already had his moment in the major leagues. Jones is still, as much as he's a highly touted prospect and he's got a very high upside, he's still on the major league level. He's still a what if. What if it works? What if it doesn't? If you're able to get somebody that's proven that they can handle it, yes, then you would make that more. Then Jones would be the preference over Dominguez, in that aspect. That's just the reality of it. Let's see a couple more comments here. Just also want to say quick shout out what's going on, John the Beagle Dad. What is up? Let's get to some more of these comments here. We also got, let's bring Donald back in. There he goes. Jones' defense is solid, and you can anywhere in the outfield. His bat has a lot of power. That's what I'm saying. If it has to be Jones in that trade, Donald, I was just saying, I'm like, Jones is still a what if, and we always hear, Volpe was supposed to be the shortstop of the future. He was a can't miss. Peraza, oh my God, his defense and his bat, his speed, Dominguez is supposed to be, the second coming of Yankee legends. It's all these what ifs with these prospects. At least with Dominguez, he's put the work in at the major league level. So does that leave Jones more vulnerable to be in the trade over Dominguez?
I don't think that Dominguez is going to be in the deal. I've heard Ben Hess and I've heard Dylan Jones as well. I haven't Dylan Lewis, I should say. Sorry, Dylan Lewis and Ben Hess. Those are top 10 prospects. I don't believe that Dominguez will be involved in the deal. If I was a betting man, I believe that Cashman's going to try and avoid.
I could definitely see Cashman not, doing everything he can to hold on to those two specific players, with Dominguez and Jones, and may try to throw a couple other things at the wall to see if they stick. In regards to this trade, and we didn't even know if this, the reports are coming out. But we've seen reports. Until something is done, I never really fully buy into it. We've been fooled by that before, where we're like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then it just never comes to fruition, and you let the egg on your face, and it's never a good look. But the reports are coming in hot and heavy with Cabrera, so it does give the conversation some validity. I think the one thing that can save Dominguez, if they abandon the switch hitting and let him focus from his strong side. Do you think that is what they're going to need to do if Dominguez stays? Because we don't know what the Marlins are looking for in return. We have speculations, but it's not like this is a full-fledged report where you're seeing all these leaks of what the package is going to entail. I would have.
All
I
he
would
said
give
is,
him-
I mean, I don't trust the Yankees player development, so
I don't either.
Dominguez is a separate matter. But let's just focus on the trade itself. The Yankees need to stay
Yep.
away from Edward Cabrera. He gets hurt a lot, can't stay healthy. His elbow was a ticking time bomb. His elbow was definitely a ticking time bomb. If you look at his past injury history, a lot of it has involved last season in particular. He missed a lot of time with an elbow issue. So it is a ticking time bomb, and that's everything that Brian Cashman wants. He absolutely loves guys that have arms that are a ticking time bomb. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm surprised that he's targeting him. I mean, just look at his past history. 2024, he missed a bunch of. I think he was on the IL like 5 separate times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 2025, he missed 12 games to a blister, then a finger injury, then another finger injury, then an elbow day-to-day, then elbow, and then elbow strain, 15-day IL retroactive, then missed a further 20 games. He's missed a ton of starts with an elbow issue. So it's something to pay attention to. If I was to make a trade, I would probably focus on Peralta more than Eddie Cabrera because I think Peralta's healthier. But listen, I'm not going to hate Edward Cabrera being acquired. I mean, his stuff is high end. His stuff is very high end.
It's a smart trade.
We're talking number 2, number 3 starter stuff. He really, really focuses on his off speed. His changeup is excellent, and he has a lot of movement on his secondary pitches. He doesn't focus on his four seam that much, but he does throw a high 90s fastball, but he throws a 90s changeup. The guy is good, really good, and he shut down the Mets in his last start, pitched a shutout. So the guy's really good. Don't get me wrong. It's just that he is a ticking time bomb. However, he has 3 years of control, and if we could get that done without giving up Dominguez and Spencer Jones, I think you would probably give that a thumbs up. If you could make that deal without giving up one of our top, one of those 2 top guys, then I'd be pretty happy with that. It's just the injuries really that worry me. So, I mean, if I was to focus on one, I'd say Peralta, the Brewers, and healing immense hearts agrees here. Agreed, Donald. Peralta would be the better move.
No, definitely Peralta would be the move, but it's just it's another what do you want to give up for 1 year of control? I believe Peralta's a free agent after this season, so you don't want to and he's going to demand they're going to demand high prospects for him. He's that good. Cabrera, at least you have 3 years of control, and you can probably get away with some of the lesser prospects. And you would be able to avoid having to get rid of your top guys because of his medical record. If Cashman's smart enough, which sometimes comes into doubt of how smart he is on these moves, then you might see where I think they would favor having the 3 years of control over the 1 year rental when it comes to Cabrera and Peralta. And if he was putting in the chat earlier that it could take Hess and Dylan as part of the highlight of the trade. Maybe they asked for Irk, which I'd be hesitant for, but at this point, I just want to fucking win, bro. I'm tired of you can't get rid of this guy. We got to, this guy's projecting really well. He's projecting well, but what has he proven? What has he proven on a major league level? So, you can't hold on to everybody because you don't want that one player into the trade, and then when the move doesn't come to fruition, then we're screaming at Cashman. How'd you not get that done? So we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot because our expectations and our wants are all over the map.
I mean, that's a fair point, but listen, I think if I was to make a deal for Edward Cabrera, I would not risk with his injury history giving up Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez. I wouldn't do it. So
No,
if you
I
could
think
do it
Cash
for
would
Ben
do it
Hess,
without those two guys.
yeah, then I'd be happy with that. I'd
Yeah,
be okay with the deal. It's a risk. It's a risk. It has some Freddie Montas to it, but Frankie Montas
yeah,
to
but
it.
the
But
Yankees
I
have to
mean,
start taking some risk again.
it's probably worth. It's probably worth the risk. But Armand has got the injury history right here, 2021, inflamed nerve, ankle sprains, not shoulder injury there, 4 as well, bicep discomfort, middle finger blister, elbow sprain. There's a lot of injuries there, so I mean he's almost guaranteed to get hurt.
Yeah, and that's what's going to come into play with the way that the Yankees with their injury history. If he's not healthy with the
The upside
Marlins,
is
what makes you
definitely
think he's going to be any
significant.
healthier?
If you look at his stuff, it's really, really good.
His stuff projects
His stuff
very
is
well.
really
I don't
good.
think that's the problem. I think the injury history is where a lot of people are a little more reserved and hesitant. And it's a fair debate. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
argue
for
about
sure.
it either way. So do you give up, an extra piece that may hurt a little bit more for a healthier Peralta for just 1 year? From what you were saying
I think.
earlier, I think that that might be where they got to go.
Well, I like Peralta more,
I do
but
too.
he's probably going to be significantly more expensive.
Yeah.
I do think he'd probably be significantly more expensive. Um, he just had a great year last year, 17-6 with a 2.70 ERA. The year before that, 3.60 ERA. He was great. Back-to-back winning seasons. He's only 29. He's just a beast. He's just an absolute beast. If you get him, then we're talking like really exciting, like very, very exciting. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, he'd be my focus, but I don't know if you'd be able to get him without giving up, those one of those names, Dominguez, Jones, whatever.
Yeah, and that's where the trades get tricky because there's always going to be that one guy in the trade you didn't want involved. There's no escaping that. Whether it's a low level guy that we didn't even give him a chance. This sucks. What's Cashman doing? There are people that want to move on from Dominguez to make a more possibility of Jones getting a fair shot at. It's trades are in Owens. It's high risk, high reward. And that's just the reality of it. And it's not a fun reality. But the Yankees, I think, need to do something drastic to at least show to us, look, not every move, we're not going to make the most favorable move, but we are going to try to upgrade when the opportunity presents itself. How much of an improvement would Cabrera be over? What's the difference between Cabrera and Warren? Just pretty, Warren's been healthier.
A lot, like a lot, massive, a lot. Have you seen Cabrera pitch?
No, I'm just putting back end of the rotation. I'm comparing him to a back end guy because he's not going to be the ace of the staff if he gets traded. He's going to be a 4 or a 5. He's not. I don't think he's going to be relied on that well.
I don't undervalue.
Whose slot does he take?
He's got injury issues, but my God, he's good. Will Warren is barely a fifth starter. He gives up a ton of home runs, and his stuff isn't good. Edward Cabrera has high end stuff. We're talking number 2 caliber stuff. So I don't know why you would ask how much of a difference he is.
So would a better
comparison
would be him and Heel?
Yeah, I would say that's a.
Right, that sounds a little more realistic.
Luis Gil's ace caliber stuff, bro. So what's your argument? I don't understand what your argument is.
Who does he take over for in the rotation?
Well, he's not taking over from Luis Gil. Well, I mean, let's not forget that a lot of our guys aren't healthy to start the year, man. So Edward Cabrera is going to be asked to handle a significant workload to start the year. I mean, Garrett Cole's going to be out until June, July. Clark Schmidt's going to be out until about August. Rodon, you're probably talking May, June. So that's 3/5 of the rotation already with some injuries there. Luis Gil was inconsistent last year because of recovering from injury. So there are some injury issues with our rotation. So Cabrera will have a significant role to play, man. There's no doubt about it. I mean, at the moment, healthy starters, you're talking Luis Gil, you're talking Cam Schlittler, and you're talking Max Fried. So that's just 3. So you need 2 starters. Cabrera would be 1. The other, I assume, would be Yarbrough until the guys get back. So Will Warren is in there as well. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Will Warren, but he's okay. I wouldn't like throw him out for nothing, but Cabrera is a much better pitcher. Have you seen him pitch, bro?
No, I've seen him pitch. No, I'm not arguing his stuff. His stuff is tremendous. You know, I'm just trying to figure. I was just trying to figure out what slot he would be in 1 through 5. You say maybe he projects more of like a 3-4.
Well, yeah. I mean, his stuff quality wise is like 2-3. So, absolutely no doubt about it. I think he's really good, bro. I'd be excited about him if I were you.
No, I'm not trying. I am excited if if we get Cabrera. He's the guy that we've wanted for a couple of years now. Rob was the first one to kind of put him on the radar, on our show, as when it came to the trade talks. So it's not one of those. And Warren, he's got tremendous strikeout stuff, but his inconsistency is something that Donald's had an issue with, Warren. Because he'll have a few good innings where he looks unhittable, and then Warren kind of turns into a pumpkin. But he was like
right.
First or second of rookies for strikeouts. So that's why I do hold Warren a little higher. I don't think we've seen the full potential of him yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm not a fan. I mean, 2024, he had a 10 ERA for Christ's sake. He got it down to the mid 4s. I just think that's who he is. I think he's 5th starter, and I'd trade him. I'd be happy to trade him. So I disagree that he's one of the best number 5s in baseball. I definitely disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in the top 5, but I mean, as far as rookie production, I think his rookie numbers, yes, they're favorable, where he would fit in very well in any rotation on any team. He's with us right now. That's it. So he's got to be in the equation. And I'm going to root for the laundry. If he's wearing that jersey, I'm going to cheer him on. I'm going to root for him. And I'll speak for Donald. Donald's not hoping he'll fail. You're not hoping he falls on his face. You want him to pitch well. Yeah, but he's not a guy that you're expecting to kind of carry the mantle. So I think that's fair to say. If we had to project what the opening rotation would be at this point, right? Let's take it to the account. Cabrera is traded for. Let's say that deal is finalized. So we're looking at an opening day rotation. You have Fried.
Yep.
Heel
Schlittler
would be his second go game 2.
Okay. Schlittler.
Say Schlittler. Warren.
Yeah.
No, Cabrera, and then Warren.
Yeah, that'll be it. Yarbrough would probably be in the bullpen.
That's not a terrible rotation while you're waiting for, Cole to get his first start, while we wait for Rodon to come back, and then Schmidt comes into the mix later on in the year. So
yeah, Schmidt would probably be coming out of the
Schmidt,
bullpen if all goes well.
yeah,
considering
they'll ease him back in. Yeah.
I mean, Cabrera will stay in the rotation. So would Schlitt, and so would obviously Fried's amazing. Luis Gil's there, and then you got Garrett Cole and Rodon. I mean, that would be a beast of a rotation. You're talking about one of the best rotations in the American League, if not one of the best rotations in baseball. It really would, and that would be a smart way of going about things. Considering I think our offense is going to take a step back, but if you got pitching like that, then there's going to be less of an emphasis on offense. So, I mean, it would certainly make the Yankees a more interesting prospect going into the season. And, I wouldn't discount the idea of a playoff team there. At the moment, without Cabrera, without any moves, they're third, fourth in the American League East as we speak. So
right now, I would say they're projected to be fourth.
Yeah, third, fourth. I'd say they're borderline the last wild card spot, maybe slightly out of it. But if they can add an arm like Cabrera or Peralta, then suddenly they're kind of back in the game a little bit. Still have a lot of work to do, but it's a good start. That's a good start. And it certainly would help us because this offseason as it stands has been completely unacceptable. And it doesn't answer a lot of the issues that's going on with the front office. Have you been looking at the stuff going on with the international market, the international director mess that's been going on? Have you been keeping an eye out on that?
On the international market, I kind of fell out of it the last couple of weeks, just because it was, time crunching.
Well, no, like in terms of firing.
Oh, because we let go that, it cost us,
basically our whole international director.
Yep. You're freezing up a little bit. So while that's going on, let's get Peter, what's going on?
Bro.
Welcome to the chat. I disagree with you about the offense stepping back. If Bellinger comes back, it should only get better. Well, until he comes back, we really don't know what we're going to be able to expect. We don't know what this offense is going to be. So if the Yankees right now see an avenue where they can improve, their pitching and limit, the run, limit runs, it's going to take away from the pressure of the offense having to feel like they have to overperform to compensate. But on the flip side of that, if the Yankees focus on pitching and they let the offense just stay stagnant where it is, then the pitching is going to feel like they have to overcompensate for the lack of offense, which is why the one thing that I've been saying for years and years and years, if you want to have a championship team that's a perennial, playoff team that's a threat, you have to have that defensive and the offensive and pitching balance. And the defense matters. So that's why, yes, right now the market for Bellinger and Tucker is kind of at a standstill. So at least they're thinking, all right, while we wait for them to figure out what the heck they want to do, let's just continue to get our business done until they decide, yes, no, or indifferent.
So to answer your question, the reason why I think the offense is going to step back is simple. Trent Grisham last year was his career year. Every year prior to that, he barely hit
Big question
200.
if that can be repeated.
Yeah, so he had a batting average of around 100. high 100s. Trent Grisham. At the moment, we don't know who's going to be the left fielder. I assume it's going to be Cody Bellinger, but don't forget that 4 out of his last 6 seasons, Cody Bellinger was a average to below average bat. So I'm not sure I'm not quite sure if you're expecting him to be a star, because he's not been a star since 2019. So that's a question mark. Big G he's not really been healthy for the last few years. So as much as he's the second best right-handed hitter in the lineup, he can't be relied upon to play every day. Third base, we have a below average bat at third. At short, we've got a below average bat at short with Anthony Volpe. Considerably below average. In fact, one of the worst bats in the league. Jazz, okay, above league average. Ben Rice, he's not a first baseman, but yeah, above league average. Austin Wells, below league average. So that's a lot of below league average bats, and there's only 2 righty bats at the moment in the lineup. That would be Judge and Big G. In order for the offense to be good next year, you need Aaron Judge to play like God every single year. Again. And then, you need Big G to be Big G, and he needs to stay healthy. And then, you need Austin Wells to get better. You need McMahon to be better. You need Chisholm to not have his head in the clouds. You need Anthony Volpe to be actually an actual competent baseball player. Caballero is amazing. We love Caballero.
Love Cabby. Rosario is solid.
Caballero, because they had every opportunity to play him at short every day, but they didn't, because he chose Anthony Volpe. And Rosario, he is someone that the Yankees didn't use at all last year. So I like Rosario. He's a good player, but he's very much backup. He's very much a backup option. I know that Brian Cashman is suddenly touting the idea of a platoon. The only reason why he's touting the idea of a platoon is to try and distract us from the fact that he has not been getting the kind of talent in the building. So he's like, oh, what about platoon? Platoons are going to be the answer. I don't trust Aaron Boone to use platoons, because
he's going into a season with the platoons.
When was Aaron Tats? When was the last time Aaron Boone ever pulled the right string?
I mean, the fact that it's not, you can't rattle it off right away, that says it all itself.
There's your answer.
I think the last time we actually said he made the right decision was when he didn't hesitate to pull Williams out of the closer role for Weaver.
That's pitching. I'm talking about offense. Like
on the offense,
you continue to gaslight us about Anthony Volpe. I mean,
what about the year where Gleyber Torres playing short until the last week of the season?
Yeah, Jazz Chisholm playing third.
Yeah, but he says you're going to be playing second base, and then he has to play third for what was it, 2/3 of the season?
And then what about
I don't know.
How about having Verdugo play every single day in the year that we actually probably could have won a World Series? And by Trent Grisham, by the way, who is now everyone's great white hope, worth $22.5 million, couldn't get off the bench. So miss me with Brian Cashman and his gaslighting routine. I'm very disappointed that Okamoto is a Blue Jay. I think that's a huge miss.
We wanted him so bad. He would have been a great fit.
You're talking about a power righty bat with plus defense at first, plus defense at third. 4 years, $60 million is nothing.
But we're not as smart as Cashman.
I hate it.
So, and it's not like they broke the penny. He was definitely even Imai. Those contracts were definitely obtainable by the Yankees. They are so. We use this. Just Minx, Happy New Year to you as well. you know, one of the terms that I used before, when we were collaborating for the show yesterday, it's like they have tunnel vision. They can't see the direction they're going in. They can't see what's going on around them to realize that they're being passed by. They got blinders on. They got to set on cruise control. Right. We're the Yankees, so we're a lock. Our brand is a lock to go to the postseason. Sorry, not anymore. Everybody's driving right past you, and you're going, look, and because you're driving in the left lane, you don't realize everybody in the right lane is just going right past you.
Right.
And that's the Yankees' problem right now. They think if you're coming into the season with a platoon position, you fucked up. Facts. You did something wrong. You cannot solidify the position, so you got to
question for you, Tats. Do the Dodgers tout platoon?
They have an ownership that will spend for the players where
they have a team of all-stars. No, we don't rely on platoon.
That's the tunnel vision. The tunnel vision is their budget.
Right. So the Dodgers don't,
because they think that they still think they're better than everybody.
The Dodgers don't promote platoons. The Blue Jays don't promote platoons. They're looking to get the best players in the league. The Yankees are like, oh, what about platoon? It's just an excuse not to sign the best players available.
Great movie, terrible baseball philosophy.
It's just the truth. It's just an excuse so they don't have to spend money, right? And nothing speaks to the Yankees' complete lack of regard for improvement as for their international signings mess. So the Yankees have continued with changes in their international signings department. Edgar Mateo, assistant to the director of international signings, who was also fired, has also been fired. So now we have absolutely nobody employed that's involved in international development.
Nope.
Cashman's fired them all, and no one's been replaced yet. And it's not a great look because it cost us a season, and we didn't get anybody from Japan, and we've not been involved in the international market. And the Yankees are blaming it all on those that have chosen these international players, but they're not really looking at the player development aspect. Because is anybody here going to criticize the fact that we signed Jason Dominguez? No, I don't think anybody would complain about us signing Jason Dominguez. The problem is the player development.
Yep.
Right? And that's separate from the international signing. It's the player development after the international signing. Jason Dominguez looks completely in over his head playing left field. The Yankees haven't utilized him properly. They've had him just sitting on the bench. I think the issues with player development rather than the international signing. So then they fire everybody involved in international signing, don't have anybody employed, thus you miss out on a season who's just now gone at the Mets. These are the kind of issues where the Yankees just look completely in over their head. How have they missed out on every single Japanese player that's come into this into the majors over the last couple of years? How have they missed that? How are they not involved in Okamoto? How did they miss out on all these guys? What were they doing? Where are they? Are they asleep? Yeah, the answer is yes. So there's some serious issues with this front office, and just because that the Yankees are finishing above 500 every year doesn't cover from the mess that's going on in the front office. Hal Steinbrenner doesn't take any responsibility because he is an absentee owner, and Brian Cashman doesn't take any responsibility because he's long in the tooth. And his assistant is Omar Minaya, and he's completely incompetent. And the analytics guy is Mike Fishman, and he's even more incompetent. And the Yankees front office is way behind the times. It's behind the times and it's lost. And there's some serious work that needs to be put in. And it's just a matter of taking some responsibility, taking a step back, going, right, is this the best use of $300 million? Absolutely not. Are we signing the best international talent? No. Are we making use of our young talent? No. So these are all very serious issues, and it's being covered up because the Yankees finish above 500 every year, and they tout that as this magnificent achievement, where in reality, just being a slightly above mediocre team gets you into the playoffs now, because it's watered down due to the amount of wildcard teams that make it. It's not that much of a big deal. I would say an achievement is making it to the ALCS. There, now you're talking about an achievement. Anything such as making a wild card and then losing in the DS, I don't believe is a massive achievement. Brian Cashman is telling you it's a massive achievement because he doesn't want to take any responsibility for his own failures. Neither does Aaron Boone, neither does Hal Steinbrenner, neither does anybody involved in the Yankees. So I'll hold them accountable. How about that?
Perfectly said. I want to get to, and I'm going to get to Slow Burner in a second. He's making some good comments, but first off, let's get to the super chat. $4.99 super chat from Issy. What's going on, Issy? One of loyal among one of our many loyal followers here. Because not pursuing Tucker is a huge mistake, second only to losing Soto to the Mets. Jazz will regress this season. He's distracted by his new OnlyFans model fiance.
I can't comment
I'm
on
not going to
that.
attack what is going on in his home. I
I
will
can't
say
comment
as
on
far
that.
as what happens on the field. Okay. What?
All I can talk about is the fact that his head is in the clouds a lot. But having
Yes.
said that, he is a plus power bat and he is a plus second baseman. So it's a weird one. So as for the offense, before I get criticized for being overly negative, I will say this. If you sign Cody Bellinger plus you sign Bo Bichette, then I will say that the Yankees are for sure a playoff caliber team and a good team, a very good team. But John Heyman did say on WFAN that Hal Steinbrenner only has room in his budget for one of the two.
Which is embarrassing.
It is, and he won't allow both being signed, as far as he's aware. So unless Hal Steinbrenner has a brain transfusion, then I wouldn't expect it. Plus, the Yankees aren't expecting Bo to be a shortstop. So if they are to make a deal, they'd be playing Bo probably a second, and then Jazz would probably be traded.
Mm-hmm.
But I would rather have Bo than Jazz because the dude is legitimate 300 hitter with runners in scoring position, and he's a righty bat. We desperately need a righty bat, and he's locked in. He's a locked-in player. Jazz, for me, is just too much of a space cadet. I like him, but you can't be yawning during the playoffs. Like, when I saw Jazz yawning through the playoffs, I was out on him. And I'm a big Jazz fan, but as soon as I saw him yawning through the playoffs, that playoff game where he was having a good, solid yawn, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm out. Trade him. It sounds ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. Because when in the Yankee dynasty has anyone ever been caught yawning during a freaking ball game?
It was a terrible look.
It was a disgraceful look. So I'm sorry. If I were Aaron Boone, I would have literally pulled him off the game as soon as I saw him yawning on the field. Well, I'm sorry. Are we keeping you awake, Jazz? Sorry about that, man. Sorry. How about you go and have a nice sleep on the bench beside me? There has to be some standards here. I know I sound like I'm the angry man yelling at the clouds, but someone has to hold some standards to this Yankee team, man. There really has to be. There really needs to be some standards set aside. You need to have you need to really start holding guys accountable. There needs to be some urgency. There needs to be someone to remind them of who the Yankees are. So it's not Aaron Boone, and it sure as hell isn't Brian Cashman right now. So something needs to change. However, getting back to the point, Bo Bichette and Cody Bellinger, I'd be happy with. Cody Bellinger on his own is not enough. Cody Bellinger on his own is not nearly enough. He's just a solid player, not any more than that. He's a good player, not any more than that. He isn't this all-star who some people seem to think that he is. He's not been since 2019. So I don't quite know what some people are expecting is going to happen just because they signed Cody Bellinger. You had him last year. He was fine. He was a good player. It wasn't like this incredible game changer. Juan Soto was the incredible game changer, and we lost him. Juan Soto, that was the guy. Cody Bellinger, he's fine. Not any more than that.
Well, what about our budget now? What would have happened if we had him? We would have had nobody. We would have been filling the team with a 20-man roster.
That's true.
But Slow Burn has been making some great comments. He's saying, you could have Bo. We're getting Tucker. I believe you are. I think Tucker's going to Toronto. I want him.
That'll be brutal.
Yeah. And Bo,
Kyle Tucker with Vladdy. Can you imagine, bro? Kyle Tucker.
No, it's a fucking nightmare. But to his other comment, and Slow Burner, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the Chronicles. Hope you're enjoying the discussion. Because he also, his first comment in the chat was Toronto is the new beast of the East. Absolutely. They are. We have never said anything other than that. We came at this whole offseason is, what are we going to do? The Yankees cannot push their chest out because they tied with Toronto. Toronto spanked the shit out of us and left us on the doorstep. And it was because our team's incompetence that left them vulnerable to losing the division. And our leadership is not close to yours. The Yankees, as good as they have all the potential they have, they're so stuck in their own ways that they're never going to. Yeah. There's no end in sight of how much they're going to just continue to derail themselves.
Oh my God! I mean, you just look at that Jays lineup, man. The Yankees seem to think that they're better than they are, but Jays as constituted are going to just destroy them. George Springer, Vlad, Okamoto. If you get Kyle Tucker, then there's Santander. I mean, what are we talking about here, guys? Andre Jimenez, Addison Barger, Alejandro Kirk, Ernie Clement. Good team. Really good team.
What a play. He impressed me this past year. He was Clement had those at bats that Bichette used to give us when he was healthy, where he could be in an 0 for 50 slump. The Yankees were coming to town. He's batting 700. Yeah.
What's going on? Let's see a shout out to William Edmondson. First time on here. Good show, knowledgeable Yankee talk.
Appreciate you, William.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. Really do appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you down the line some more and future podcasts. So yeah, that's it. So I mean, I just don't want the Yankees to overrate themselves. They need to be urgent here. It's a good start with Cabrera though. So let's get back to the Cabrera talk. And although there's a significant elbow injury concerns, adding him is at least a step forward, and it's a statement of intent, and the Yankees need a statement of intent, and that would be a statement of intent. He's got multiple years of control, and his stuff is high end. If you look at the kind of years that he's had, it is potentially exciting. Last season, especially, I mean, he had 150 strikeouts last year with a 3.50 ERA. And his last starts were very impressive. After coming back from injury, he looked really good, in particular against the Mets. He pitched like a demon and ended the Mets season. So, I mean, he does deserve a lot of credit for that. That's for sure. So, he's going to be good. He's going to be good as long as he's healthy. The question is not about his stuff. The question is not about his mentality. The question is not about his ability. It's just about his health. because everything else is good. It's good. There's a lot to be excited about, in particular the 150 strikeouts last year. So I mean, the guy can pitch. Against the Mets, shutout, and he also had 7 innings shutout against Atlanta. Against the Yankees, he shut us down, just 1 earned run over 6 innings. Again, he shut down the Braves over 8 innings. That guy could pitch. There's no doubt about it. Twins shut down the Twins, shut out over 7 innings. So I'm just looking at all his previous starts. He's pitched a lot of shutouts. Giants, no runs over 5 2/3. Angels, no runs over 5 2. He's good. He's good. Phillies, 6 1/3 innings, just 1 run. Yeah, I mean, you're talking. He's much better than a 4th starter, bro. We're talking like a serious freaking starter. It's just the only question is whether he is healthy.
Well, and that is the biggest question. That's why I don't know. I don't trust the Yankees to be able to manage his injuries anyway. We can't manage on wrong. We're gonna fix somebody else. I lost complete faith in the Yankees medical staff after. I can go way back to Frazier's concussion, but it was also with Anthony Rizzo, and then it's mismanagement of that. Volpe, having to play hurt, Rodon having to play hurt, all the training and all the change of routine for Stanton still can't keep him healthy for a whole year. So that's why I would take Cabrera in a heartbeat. This isn't to persuade the decision for the Yankees at all. I don't know if he's going to be. We just need him to stay healthy enough until we get Cole and Rodon back. If that's what it's going to be,
right?
I think if that's what happens,
look at his. Let's look at his.
That's a lot of red right there, Donald.
That's a lot of red, my guy. Off-speed run value 88%, breaking run value 94 percentile. So he's in the top 6% in breaking balls in the entire major leagues. That's good. There's a lot of reds there, man. So he's good. It also speaks to, let's look at his pitch usage. He uses his changeup more than anybody else. Anything else? Okay. 26%, 24% cutter, 21% slider. He only uses fastball 13% of the time. Now, that says to me like the Yankees really want him because it kind of fits the way the Yankees like, the Yankees model, especially with their pitching development. They really like to emphasize changeups and cutters in particular. And so it makes sense. Look at his velocity, though. 97 mile per hour on his 4-seamer. 94 mile per hour on his changeup. 84 miles per hour on his curve. 96.8 miles per hour on his sinker. So that's some high velo secondary stuff, bro. How about a 94 mile an hour changeup? Kind of reminds me of Devin Williams, right?
Yeah. Very actually, it's got a lot of similarities.
Yeah. There's a lot to like here. There's a lot to like. And I think he would absolutely cook.
Yeah.
I think
I like this
cook.
Yeah, I like this comment here from Sherry Radway. What's going on, Sherry? His entry point looks like a Star Wars movie credit. No, and joking aside, you never want to, it sucks to have to make light of the injury report. But when you see the numbers that Donald just pulled up through the Savant page, I think the injuries will have to take. You'll have to absorb the risk of it to get another arm in there. And I think that's really where I'm coming around to is yes, the injuries to me are a concern, but it's not a deterrent. I still make the move. It all depends. And we brought it up earlier in the chat. And Hess's name is coming up, somebody that they wouldn't want to move on from because he's, a highly regarded pitcher. I mean,
you have to
so
get
is
Debbie
Garcia. So is Debbie Garcia. We didn't move him. Where's he now?
It's true.
Chance Adams. Where's he? We hold a sub on to him.
That's a good one. Good pull, my friend.
I don't even remember. Like you almost forgot. I almost forgot his name.
I did too. I actually literally good pill.
Which pitcher I was really pissed off at. Not someone not named Jordan Montgomery. That's still I get nightmares over that one. But I remember when they traded Brian Mitchell, and I was fuming. Where'd he end? You never heard from him. What was the other one? James Caprillion. He had a couple of years with the A's.
Oh yeah, Caprillion.
But he never developed to that superstar.
No.
So right now, that's why they're just prospects. They're maybes. They're a what if.
Right. That's why it does tend to make sense. And the Marlins make sense because there's only a couple of teams that actually want to negotiate with the Yankees. Brian Cashman is such a tough negotiator that very few teams actually want to discuss trades with him. The Marlins do. The Yankees and the Marlins have been trade partners for a number of years. Same with the Pirates. Those are the main teams that the Yankees kind of come back to. They continue to go back to that well. So it kind of makes sense. The Marlins know the Yankee farm system very, very well.
Yep.
So it would be easier to match up on value with the Marlins. The Marlins heavily scout the Yankee system. They've already taken probably our best catching prospect.
Can we get him back?
Right. But so the Marlins, exactly. They got Agustin Ramirez. And I loved Agustin Ramirez. And I hated that we traded him, to be honest. And it's shout out to Sunil. Good to see Sunil back in the chat. Not seen him in a while. I beat Sunil in fantasy football, so fantasy football champion right here.
Well, what we can do is, what if we trade for Ramirez and Cabrera? We'll give them Hess. We'll give them Wells, Volpe.
Oh, dude!
Like, what else can we add on there? Let's just get Ramirez back,
dude. If we traded Anthony Volpe today, what would we get in return for him? Let's just be honest, because I know there's some fans that still gaslight us, saying that Anthony Volpe is going to turn this thing around. If we put Anthony Volpe on the market right now, what would we get for him?
What would we get?
Maybe that Yankee
of a photocopied ass. Remember you
maybe that Yankee flag behind you. Yeah, right. Maybe that Yankee flag that just behind your bald head, brother. I think that would probably be.
Nah, that's worth more than Volpe.
Are you sure? All right.
Sure.
Am I overstating his abilities?
Yes. No, look. Seriously, in all seriousness, yes, Volpe's time has come. We're all having a little. I was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yep. Look, I was a bit. I really wanted Volpe to win.
Oh, damn, that's rough.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. You prefer Anthony Volpe?
No, I really wanted Volpe to work. I really did, you know, and I could easily just
Right. Everyone else, come in with your trade suggestions for Anthony Volpe.
was
That's
it
what
a
we're gonna do. We want some of the best suggestions for Anthony Volpe, guys. Let's do this.
oh god, yeah, Dodge
So at the
Dart.
moment, the best one so far is the Hyundai Sonoro.
That's a good one.
Alex was a good one. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I like that one.
Yeah, but yes,
Bag of
I was a
baseballs.
big Volpe guy. I don't think the injury was I don't think that's what derailed his season. I think it was his focus is what really derailed him. When you lose your confidence in your abilities, it's hard to regain that. And I don't know if Volpe's going to be able to get himself back to that major league mentality. I think he gets in his head too much. Yeah, and I think that's what's really setting him back. Same way with Jazz, where yes, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. And I had said, yeah, exactly, Doran, the search for home runs. But in parallel, a very slim parallel to Jazz. If you're so, you want to wear your personality out, and you want to be that, that New York / New Jersey Italian on the Yankees. That's fine. That's a great way to look at it. But I don't. It was. I don't think Volpe was the guy that we expected, which is why I'm like, guys, if we have to trade somebody for Hess for Cabrera, and Hess has to be in there, so be it.
Let's go back to Duran's point here.
Yeah.
All honesty aside, just so it doesn't look like we're just beating up on Volpe for the sake of it. The truth is that the Yankees destroyed Anthony Volpe rather than Anthony Volpe himself. I think that Anthony Volpe was an okay player. I think he had some upside, and the Yankees destroyed him because the Yankees wanted to turn him into a pull hitter. That's not his game. And instead of focusing on home runs, they should have focused on what A-Rod said: flatten out that swing, make contact, make your legs be the difference maker in your game instead of the home runs. That's not his game. It destroyed his game. It took about 60, 70 points off his batting average, probably 60, 70 points off his on-base percentage, all in order to chase having 20 home runs in a season. But at what cost? Because in 2024, he had a worse OPS than he had in 2025. And 2025 was one of the worst seasons in the history of the game. So, 2024, he was abysmal. And the Yankees refused to take any responsibility for that. They destroyed his swing. We talk about the chicken parm conversation with Austin Wells, but Austin Wells figured it out. He's like, dude, there's a hole in your swing. Right? And then after that, he got a lot better. But the Yankees offense of batting coaches take no responsibility. The Yankees, I don't know what film room they have because they don't take any responsibility. And again, they just focus on hitting home runs all the time. Tats, who did we speak to at the start of the Pinstripe Chronicles history? We spoke to a prominent ex-Yankee legend. What did he say about the Yankees' approach?
It sucks. No, it's they're too power driven. They got away from the see the ball, hit the ball. That is kind of the foundation of building an offense. If you're not able to know, if you don't know the player you are, then you can't become the player you want to be. So in those ways, Judge knows he's got tremendous amount of power, but he's not trying to, he'll have some swings where he's just trying to launch it to Queens. No argument there. But he also knows that if he sees a gap in the outfield, he's going to try to hit it to that gap. If it travels over the wall because of the exit velo, then fine. But players like Volpe, that's not the game you should be playing. You want to get those seeing eye signals. You want to get the doubles in the gap and move runners around. Get yourself in scoring position. Volpe cannot take the same hitting approach as Aaron Judge. It doesn't work. That's the problem. And Judge does hit a lot of doubles, Sherry. You're right. Because he's not trying to launch the ball.
Right. Neither does Big G. Big G doesn't aim for home runs all the time. He aims to make hard contact. It's just because the swing is so good that they go out of the yard more often than it doesn't. That's a good swing. Volpe's swing is not good. It's a massive uppercut swing, and it's only a pull hitter swing. And by the way, in the minors, it wasn't as bad as that. He was a contact hitter. He was able to hit to all fields. Yankees promote him, turn him into a pull hitter, and now he's one of the worst hitters in the game. So I think it's less on Volpe, more on the Yankees. But the Yankees don't take responsibility for anything. Look at, for instance, Gleyber Torres. Look at, for instance, Gary Sanchez. When we first saw them, they were able to hit to all fields, right? They were able to hit right center, right, left. They weren't solely pull hitters. Yankees got a hold of them, and after a year or so, they're like, "Now we need you to be strictly a pull hitter," and it ruined Gleyber Torres for a couple of years. He pulled it together towards the end, and he went to the Tigers, was great, and then ruined the Kraken because of that as well. That's what the Yankees do, and they take no responsibility for it. None. So us making fun of Volpe, a lot of it is down to the Yankees because they ruined his game and then gaslight us all that he's still the best player in the game. Oh, he's elite. He's effing elite. Bang, bang, banging on the table. I don't want to live in a planet where Anthony Volpe is not our starting shortstop. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up.
Yeah. Look, the same way with Torres, right? If they would have just moved on from Volpe and he went somewhere else and was successful, hats off. Like Torres had a solid year for Detroit. He went right back to the swing that got him called up.
Yep.
And a lot of players, when they leave, they start to figure things out and they have better seasons. Why is that? Is it the players that suck? Or is it the team philosophy that sucks?
The Yankees are obsessed with home runs. Over 162 games, by and large, it helps. Once you get in the postseason and you need to make contact in order to get on base and just kind of chip away against quality pitching, they can't do it. But they don't take any responsibility for that because they're only focused on home runs in the regular season. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that the Yankees need to fix, and it's not going to be fixed this year because no changes have been made. So going back to where we're talking Cabrera. I'm excited about that. And we've made multiple bids for Cody Bellinger, so I expect us to finally sort this out and get Cody Bellinger in the door. I'm not going to hate it. He was our second best player last year. He was our low-key MVP in our awards for the year. He was very, very good. Is he an all-star? No. Is he Kyle Tucker? No. Is he Juan Soto? Absolutely not. Is he a difference maker? No. But is he a very good player? Yeah. But is it going to be a depreciating contract? Absolutely. But listen, it's better than nothing. So at least he helps us kind of get back on track a little bit. I would only be happy if we signed Bellinger and Bo Bichette. Then I'd be happy. Just Bellinger on his own, then I'm sorry, it's not going to be much of a difference maker. Bellinger and Cabrera, okay. the Yankees are kind of there or thereabouts, but there's still more work to do. That's my prognosis on the situation.
Yeah, I'm not in the mood for the big G slander. We could save that for another day. But no, I think that if they're able to pull off this trade for Cabrera, I'd be curious to see what the pieces are that are involved and how that changes the landscape of the rest of the offseason for the Yankees' plans, especially budget in budgetary terms. Yep.
We're bad people. We should not be laughing at that.
No, it's not. It's funny, but it's not.
Donald Trump, he's from Venezuela. Help.
Oh no, it's sensitive topic. Sensitive topic. But that's gonna wrap things up for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed the laughs as much as we did. Appreciate everybody that hung out with us. If you have, make sure you hit that like button on YouTube. If you're watching on X, hit that like as well, and consider giving us a follow. Sportswire, shout out to everybody on Sportswire Radio, on Facebook as well. Do appreciate everything you guys do with us in the morning, giving us all the laughter throughout the day. So with that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, your friends, your family, the strangers on the corner. So this is Pitch Like Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tats with Uncle Donald. With Donald Stewart.
Uncle Donald. Uncle Tats and Uncle Donald. Dude, I know I'm getting old. I'm not at the uncle stage yet. I'm getting
No,
there,
you're not at the uncle stage. You're almost there, though.
I'm almost there. Give me 3-4 years. Then I'm on the uncle stage, I'd say.
So with that, make sure you wear those pin shirts of pride and play on.
Arrest Hal Steinbrenner.